Hi, I'm John, and I'm going to show you how to mark for cutting a panel for say a bulkhead for a boat or something like that, without actually having to take the material that you're cutting, sheet of plywood, whatever it is, to the boat. So here goes. Okay, so I've drawn just a random shape on this piece of paper. It's not square, it's not rectangular, none of the sides are parallel or whatever. And what I'm going to do is take a piece of paper, stick it in the middle, take this batten, which I've cut a sharp end on, lay it across a piece of paper with the point in one corner of the shape. Then I'm going to draw a line like that. I'm going to put a little tick on the batten, and I'll call that A. So I've put A next to it. I'm going to make a mark next to the tick. I'm going to label that A1. Okay. Then take the batten again, lay it across the paper. Now the point is at this corner here. Draw another line, another tick, and because this is the second point, this is going to be labelled A2. Now do it for that point. Another line. Tick again. A3. And the last corner. Yeah. Anywhere is on the paper, as long as you get the mark on it. I will show how to do a more complicated shape in a moment. You can pretty much do any shape you want, including ones that have curves and so forth. And you can even get behind things. There's a way of doing that as well. Okay, so put the top on my pen. I'll pop this off here. Gently take this away. That's the original. We'll come back to that in a minute to see if it fits. Let's say this is your sheet of plywood or whatever material you're going to cut. Could be a carpet for that matter. Mind you, carpets have to be tensioned a bit, so this you have to allow for that if you're using this method. Stick the marking piece on kind of in the same, in the right sort of place. It's no good putting it up there because you won't be able to get the whole shape onto the material. No good there, no good here, whatever. So you've got to be a little bit clever about that. but it's not difficult. And now take your batten and lay this tick A against A1 along the line. Mark your point. A2, mark your point. A3, mark your point. A4, mark your point. And then, as all the edges are straight in this case, you can just join up the points. You're doing a more complicated shape, you've got to kind of keep track of where you are with it. Because it is easy to get confused, so one thing to do is always keep the numbers in sequence. Top on the pen. Take this off now, don't need that now. Cut carefully along the lines. I'm actually just cutting to the inside of the tip line here. And in a moment, when I've cut this last edge off, we'll see if it fits. Okie dokie. That'll do for lighting the fire tonight. Bring the original back. Hope you can see all this. And there you are. A perfect fit. So there we are. And in a moment I'll show you how to do a more complicated one. Right guys, here's a more complicated shape. Again, it's just a random shape. I've kind of chosen some curves, an awkward corner here and that kind of thing to show you how I deal with those. So it's the same principle. We'll start here. Tick A1. A2. Really, this is as accurate as you can be bothered to make it, which depends on a number of things. but I'll go through those a bit later. A3. Now here this corner is a bit awkward, so I've come up there like that, because if this was solid here, then I wouldn't be able to, to get the batten over like that. So I've come like that. Now you see that the A tick is actually off the marking board. So I'll draw a line and we'll put another tick on here, which we'll call B. So tick there next to that, and because this is point 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to call that B4. Always keep your numbers in sequence, otherwise you will get mixed up. And going on to the next point there, which is point 5. And here you can use either A or B to mark it, doesn't matter. You can leave a gap there. I've used B because it's a bit more room up there. B5. So it's point 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point 6 here. B's off the paper, so I've gone back to mark A. So this is A6 because I've used mark A and it's point 6. And we're coming in there to point 7. So it's A7. Now you've got a curve here, and I mean, if you know that it's exactly half a circle, and you know that I didn't draw this round thing, so it's just random, but you could just mark the 2 points and then come back and mark with something of the right radius. The other way of doing it is to mark several points. So we've got a line there, A8. You can mark A9, A10, A11. No, you can't do A11 because and you can't use B either. So you need to make another mark here on the batten, and you call that C. So that would be C11. Okay, but I don't want to confuse the board here because we'll end up with lines all over the place. So I'm just going to mark this point here. But now you find you've actually gone off the edge of the paper. So what I'm going to do here is just extend the marking board, right? But I can't use A or B because they're off the paper. So I'm going to make another mark, call it C. Now the last number we actually had here was 8. We had A8. So this is going to be 0.9 because I haven't bothered to do all the other points around here, which you can do. And I do recommend that you do that and then carefully, scribe through them to get your curve. So, all right, so the last point was A8. So this is 0.9, so it's C9 because it's using tick mark C, and it's the 9th point. Right, so here, you probably can't quite see this, but I can't quite get into the corner there because of this bit here is coming up against that edge there. So what I'm going to do is flip the batten over. Now I can get into the corner. Okay, so draw a line. We haven't got a tick mark on this side, so we have to have another one. We call it D. That was point 9, this is point 10, so this is D10. And along here, along this curve, you can take as many points as you like. And the more points you take, the more accurately you'll be able to follow the curve. But I won't do them now because it will just, we've got a cat's cradle here already and it's going to just make it confusing. So now I can't get the point in again because of the, so I'm going to flip the batten back again and put the point in the corner. And now this is B. So, oh, I didn't mark that one. I don't need to write the 10 on the batten, I need to write it on the paper. Silly old me, always making mistakes like that. So, I flipped it back again. So, the last point was D10, which is that one. So this is point 11. So we're going to call this B11. Okay. And now, basically the same thing again. You just take this off. Okay. I should have stuck those together, which I should have done in the first place. Move that out of the way. First piece of mock plywood, put it back and go round same as before. A1 is up there, A2 is over there. Where did we go? We went A3. Now the next one, the next point was point B. Aha, right. So there I've gone off the edge of the brown paper, or our mock plywood panel. So I didn't position this correctly, so I would need to position this further over that way in order to get it out of the material. So I won't go through the whole thing because I haven't marked all the points for the curves, so I won't be able to cut those, draw those and cut those properly anyway. but you can see the basic principle of this. And it's really just very simple. All it is just one line, one tick on the batten, point on the pointer at the corner or whatever it is, one tick on the batten, line across the paper, tick on the paper, and number it according to which tick on the batten it is and which point it is, what number point it is, and then just transfer it back. Very simple. You can, I've done this in the past and I've ended up with 30 or 40 lines with ticks, and as long as you number them in sequence and you're careful to position your marking paper or board in the right place on the material that you're going to mark for cutting, then you should be fine. Just be very careful. It's as accurate as you want to make it. That obviously, if you have a very small marking board in the middle of a huge shape that you're going to cut, then it's going to be less accurate than having a big marking board. If your batten is flexible, then you may get errors that way, and so forth. And if you're just a bit sloppy about your marking and transferring the marks back, but it can be very, very accurate, but be careful. And once you've marked everything before you cut your plywood or whatever it is you're going to cut, just look at it carefully. Does it make sense? Does it resemble the shape that you're trying to match? You can even go around corners with this. So let's say I wanted to go around the back of this thing as a shape. If I, there's the sellotape, there it is. If I bend a bit of wire and stick it on the batten, anything like this will do, then you can reach around the back of it and take a series of points. Yeah, I haven't curved this enough. You might need to have an extra bit on your marking piece. Take a series of points, keep going around the back. In order to go all the way around this, I'd actually need a bigger hook, but of course what you can do is flip it over and go around from the other side like that. So there you are, guys. Any questions? Please put them in the comments, and I wish you the best of luck. Okay, so if you're setting up to mark for a bulkhead, for instance, where there isn't anything except just the internal shape of the boat or whatever, you'll need to set up a board to put your marking paper or marking card or whatever on. Just make sure it's in exactly the right place in the plane where you want the bulkhead, and be careful as ever. Okay, so there it is. It is a good technique, but obviously you need to be very careful, because if you get it wrong, you could end up ruining a whole piece of plywood or something. I would suggest that you use cardboard or whatever and mark that and cut that rather than cutting your plywood, and then see if the cardboard fits, at least until you get, familiar with this and you've got some confidence in it. But it is very good, and it means that you can mark your material away from the job without ever taking it to the job before it's cut, which is really a major advantage. It is a recognized boat building technique, and that's where I got it from, because I used to be involved with yacht design. So there you are. Best of luck. All the best. And as I say, do practice first. Oh, and the other thing is, if you are making a hook or whatever to mark round the back of something, use something more rigid than a piece of wire. Otherwise, you'll probably get a bit of flex, and then you'll get some inaccuracy there. So good luck. All the best.